necessarily going to be user-friendly for me. So I apologize in advance for being short. Blame my parents, who may actually be watching at home. I think everyone here is familiar with me. I'm just going to get started. I'm State Senator Capri Cafaro. I represent the 32nd Senate District in Northeastern Ohio, and I also serve as the ranking Democrat both on the Medicaid Subcommittee of Finance as well as the Standing Committee on Medicaid, Health and Human Services here in the Senate. So, why are we all here today in this room with no windows? I think we're all aware that before the recess, there was a lot of discussion by the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House about taking action on the important issue expanding Medicaid coverage for Ohio's working poor. On the last day of session, President Faber publicly stated from the podium that we would be coming back to hold hearings on a Medicaid bill this summer, presumably Senate Bill 145, which was co-sponsored by myself and Senator David Burke of Marysville. Speaker Batchelder went as far as saying at a press conference back in June, action would be taken on Medicaid roughly in the next 55 days. That was all on or before June 27th, and now it's July 30th. At least 33 days of Speaker Batchelder's 55 days are now gone. Now, I know that yesterday both Chairman Onstutz and President Faber made some new public statements about taking action. But frankly, in my opinion, they were just that, statements, talk, with no real indication of a commitment to action. As a matter of fact, it seems to me that this talk is simply a way to feign interest without doing anything at all. President Faber even asserted yesterday in Gonwer, quote, "We anticipate having a discussion in the fall, depending on where we are at. Whether we are ready to act or not is a different question," unquote. Statements like that make it clear to me that leadership in the House and in the Senate has no true interest at this time in moving forward on this important issue. But frankly, we must. The bill I am introducing today builds upon the content developed by the bipartisan, bicameral group that produced Senate Bill 145. Since the Senate Finance Committee is not scheduled to meet anytime soon to accept a substitute bill, there is no other option but to introduce a standalone piece of legislation to move the dialogue forward. Hundreds of thousands of Ohioans' lives hang in the balance simply because they are part of a population that is caught straight in the crosshairs of political marksmanship. So now you know why we're here. So what does this bill do? There are some similarities and some differences between this standalone bill and what would have been a Senate Bill 145 sub-bill. Like the as-introduced version of Senate Bill 145, this bill has three components: Medicaid expansion and reform, legislative oversight, and workforce development. However, this bill has many of the detailed policies that we had hoped to include in a sub-bill that never came to pass. Bless you. And it also includes other additions that augment the mission and commitment to serve more people. As you will see, in this bill, more people will be insured and Ohio will be spending less money. And not just because we are putting expansion on the federal tab. Let me be clear. This bill is different than any bill that is currently introduced in either chamber. Now, before I get into the details further, I also want to be clear that this action is neither a surprise to nor a feud with Chairman Burke, the dual sponsor of Senate Bill 145. He has been a pleasure to work with, and I believe is committed to doing the right thing in a fiscally responsible manner.